Today is the day of the Empire Bowl. Pigskin Empire's version of the Super Bowl, where the two best teams square off for the championship. This is where we aspire to be, fighting for the championship, turning the worst team into a perennial powerhouse. We will have to fight, claw, prepare, and scheme our way to the top. With the worst roster in the EFL, little to no experience, we have a long way to go. Let's first start off by looking at our coaching staff, starting with our defensive coordinator, Tyreek Gibson. Tyreek will be tasked with creating a defensive scheme that limits the meta, but also puts dots in place to make plays. We want to attack on defense and not be reactionary. This will require a lot of study and a lot of time in the lab, testing coverages, fronts, and watching games. Our second coach is our offensive coordinator, Charles Globman. Charles' main duty will be to develop our players on both sides of the ball, but first focusing on his development, hitting milestones to increase his offensive bar, defensive bar, and his development bar, making development take less time and increase its effectiveness. Lastly, and most importantly, our head coach, Ronaldo Cruz. Ronaldo will have the blunt of the duties. His hours will be delegated to scouting draft picks, scouting free agent prospects, upcoming opponents, and building the offensive playbook. We really have to work to get his scouting bar as high as we can. I have a lot of work to do to get these coaches where they need to be for this team to be successful. But in order to do that, I'll have to delegate the roles for each coach. Let them specialize. I know it's me doing all the work, but at the end of the day, there are only so many hours in Pigskin Empire. As I showed earlier, this is the lowest rated roster in the EFL, but I think it has some pieces. We finished the year at 2-14, putting us in a position for a top 3 draft pick. Our offense was led by quarterback Dion Caldwell, who evals to be our best player going into his 7th season. Caldwell is good. He's got wheels running at 4.43, A- in accuracy range, and A+ in pocket awareness. Our best running back is Franklin Mitchell. Mitchell will be going into his 8th season, but he has an expiring contract. He evaled out to about 106 for me, running a 4.27 with B+ break tackle and A- elusiveness. For some reason, he did not receive the bulk of the carries, only rushing for 431 yards and 1 touchdown. Running back will be one of the biggest question marks going into this offseason, with Mitchell's contract expiring. We have 2 middle-of-the-road fullbacks in D'Angelo Bryant and Gregory Davis. Neither are great, but we could definitely use an upgrade in a run-first offense. Next is our offensive line, my favorite position group in this game. I am very particular when it comes to offensive line. I covet athletic offensive linemen. I want to down block. I want to pull. I want to wrap my linemen as effectively as I can. This means I must have athletic linemen who can pull to the play side of the run or get out in front of a toss, or simply just down block, maybe a gap or 2 over. Our center, Harley Wilkerson, fits this mold, and he is going into his 3rd season. He'll be a player I build this offensive line around. We have quite a few young guards, but starting, we have DeMarcus Stepp, who is a rookie, and second-year player Tayshawn Smith. Smith is a bit slower than I like, but he's serviceable. At tackle, I'm very excited about DeMarcus Barron. He's 106 eval, second-year player who runs a crazy 4.63. Might see him move to guard, as I see his speed allowing him to pull at a higher level. He is paired with another second-year tackle in Joyce Young, who also can move a bit, running a 4.88. He evaled out to like 107. We definitely have some pieces to build around on the offensive line, so development is going to be really important. At wideout, we have young receivers, with most of them being like 1 or 2 year players. The exception being our actual best receiver, George Nelson. He's our second best player at 112 eval, but he also has an expiring contract. George had one of his worst seasons last year with only 13 receptions, 178 yards, and a touchdown. I'm not sure getting him back is in the cards. Lastly, for the offense is our tight ends. A big position group on a run-first offense. But we have 3 on the roster, with Mario Perales topping the group at 113 eval. Mario runs a smooth 4.33 and is only in year 3. He was backed up by Stephen Miller, 106 eval, in his 4th year, and Ronaldo Ejada, 97, 2nd year. Miller's contract is expiring, so we'll need to figure out a tight end to fill out the roster. All in all, the offense could be a lot worse. There are definitely question marks, but I think most of the issues with the offense are development related. Now for the defense. Much like the offense, the defense is really young, mostly composed of 2-year players. The defensive line? Our best defensive lineman is defensive tackle Nathan Hayes. He grades out to about 107 going into his 8th season, but yet again, an expiring contract. Behind Hayes is Hilario Hill, Ernesto Reyes, and Mario Callaway. Because of our depth, he is likely another cap casualty. I expect these younger players to be as good, if not better, after training from the years applied. At defensive end, Dominic Price and Paul Walls are our top guys, but really, we have 6 players who all grade out around the same. We definitely have a stable of defensive linemen to develop. And now at linebacker, it's more of the same. We have 3 2-year middle linebackers, with Alfonso Cruz leading the group at 105 eval, but with Kaufman on his heels at 104, and an awesome 4.2 940. Kaufman is the man to build around. At outside linebacker, we have Chauncey Gunter in his 2nd year at 106, and Lee Durant at 103 in his 3rd year. Gunter grades out to be one of the top 3 players on defense, and he'll pair nicely with Kaufman. And lastly is our defensive backs, probably our weakest position group on the entire team. At corner, our best player is James Crisp, our only real corner with speed. Crisp is another 2nd-year player, and he grades out to about a 98 eval, and he runs a 4.26. On the other side is Terrence Halcomb, another 2nd-year player. He's a little bit slower, though, running a 4.37. He grades out to about a 96. I'm not as excited about our depth at corner as I am with other positions. Probably another position to look at improving before next season. At safety, our best player is yet another expiring contract veteran. His eval is 102, Mayo Martinez, with our next best safety also having an expiring contract, Michael Barney.
Not that Barney, a different Barney, a more expensive Barney.
I do like who we have developing here, though, behind these 2. Danny White, a 2nd-year player, he's 100 eval, who runs a 4.26. And 99 eval, Mario Morales, who runs a 4.27. And 98 eval, Richard Koch, who runs a 4.35. With our roster makeup on defense, I'd really like to try to stay in 4 down lineman formations. That way we can capitalize on the talent that's on the roster and hopefully get after the quarterback. First, we need to address our biggest need, running back. We'll be a run-first offense. I want to develop as a run play designer first, utilizing 21 personnel, 2 tight ends, fullback, those kinds of formations. This means I'll need a bell cow running back. Mitchell, our starting running back, is aging, and his contract is expiring, meaning we only have 2 running backs under contract, and neither are starting quality. I don't think drafting one high and developing him makes as much sense as picking up a veteran who is already developed, because of our coaching bars being so low. So we made a trade, sending our 2nd round pick to Kansas City for running back David Smith, a 120 eval running back who runs a 4.2. Exactly the type of back I'm looking for while we find and develop our own. Now that we have hit rollover, the draft order has been set. We have the 2nd pick in the draft, giving us good flexibility for whichever direction we want to go. We can stick and pick, trade down, get more picks, or even trade out, getting a haul setting us up for the future. Who knows? But all this and more as we rebuild the NWO. If you don't know what PSE is, I suggest checking it out. I'll throw a link in the description. But everybody else, thanks for watching.